So, ladies and gentlemen, World Cup tournament Riga Open 2025 was just opened, and let me introduce you with one of the top players of this tournament and top players of the world, actually, Guntis Valneris, international grandmaster from Latvia. Guntis, welcome.
Hello, good day to everybody.
So, Guntis, you just have returned back from Cameroon, where the World Championship Open took place. You returned with a bronze medal, third place in the World Championship. What actually are your feelings about that, and how do you evaluate your achievement and also level of play of other competitors?
Nowadays we have many strong Dutch players who are the very top of the world, and also the youth players who are strong enough to be grandmasters. And actually it happens that many of them were promoted for the final top 12. And some of them played good, some of them played worse there, but it's always when so many Dutch, it's always a chance that they fight hard against each other at a certain point and somebody wins. Yeah? It was also a situation that in principle before the last round I hoped that it could be possible, quite realistic actually, to play the same match for the second place against Martijn van IJzendoorn, also one of the top Dutch players, and the winner would go to the match for the world title next year. But it happens that some of the Dutch players also participating here, it's a Somp, won against another tough guy because a draw would not allow them to be in top 3, and so finally I had to play a match for the third place. I managed against much younger player and very tactical one, so in that way I'm quite satisfied, but of course always leaving some sadness that I couldn't go further.
Yes, thank you, Guntis. And from the overall perspective, how do you evaluate the organization of the World Championship in Cameroon? Was of everything of good quality, and whether all the service for players was good? And what are your impact about World Championship system as such? Because as you rightly pointed out, there were many Dutch players in the top final of 12 players in the end. So what are your thoughts on this?
In principle, the president of the World Federation, Jacek Pawlicki from Poland, was present on the last week of the World Championship, and we spoke about many things over breakfast and dinner, very often behind the same table. And there are some ideas to carry out the World Championships in a way of Swiss system with more tough rules, like Swiss system, and 4 players from each of the pools go further with only 8 players in the final. So that could be something to make it maybe a bit more interesting and with a more fighting idea behind it. And well, about the organization itself, well, they really tried. They really tried, and they found a good place, which was not exactly in the capital Yaoundé, but maybe kilometers 20 out of the city, in a beautiful scenery with a park, all in the same compounds, which was quite relaxing for us to play. But of course, yeah, as in Africa, you also encounter always some unexpected things, like the luggage from your plane not arriving not the same day, not the next day, but then after 2 days, and it's a general practice there, as well as of course always problems with the feeling of your stomach the first days, as almost any European, you know, because it's a specific microflora with which, when they, for example, wash your plates, you know, with the tap water, yeah, you feel it at the beginning, and then it makes it more difficult the first days. But in principle, they did big job, and there was really interest, and the Minister of Sports was present at the opening and closing ceremony, and with many performances of the artists and so on.
So in general, it was nice. So, but then coming to this tournament, World Cup tournament, Riga Open 2025, how do you evaluate the composition of the players in this tournament, the number of the players, and maybe, of course, you will be one of the top players aiming for the victory in this tournament, but also what you see as your main competitors in this tournament?
Yeah, of course, Swiss system tournament in 9 rounds, you can have any strong international master being quite successful at certain point, and then having on this uplifted spirit, he tries to go on throughout the tournament and playing safe against some stronger players. But in principle, of course, I predict that the players who sitting on the first tables, like Alexander Schwarzman, like Jitse Sump, who placed second in the last World Championship, like Yuri Anikeyev, a recent world champion 2 years ago. So those are the main competitors, I guess.
Yes, thank you. And Guntis, less than 2 months ago, you became a European champion. Now, just less than 1 month ago, you became a third place bronze medalist of the World Championship. And actually, your achievements are those which inspire our youth players. They are as an example for them, what goals can be achieved in future for them. What is your recipe of achievements and what you would wish to our Latvian youth players and also other youth players, how to work towards such a top-level achievements like yours?
I have some trainings with the Latvian youth now, also supported by Latvian Drafts Federation, and also had some individual trainings before. But in principle, yeah, I can say that it much depends on whether the very young drafts player is really wishing to play. Yeah? When it's not only, for example, his father's wish that he tries, and because he has to do also a lot himself. He can't realize that a coach, for example, could give everything to him, and then he grows like a star. Yeah? You have to work quite a lot for yourself as well. Yeah? So it's trainings, and it's also going through games of the strongest players of the recent tournaments. Also not only your youth competitors, but also the men. And the trainer, of course, can help, because he can detect what happens during the most important competitions, whether mentally he's not ripe for this or that situation on the board, or maybe spends too much of time. But in principle, he has to wish himself. Yeah? And that motivation is not always with the youth players.
Yes, thank you, Guntis, so much, and all the best luck to you for this tournament.
Thank you.